Good morning. Welcome to the next stage of the XJ81 restoration project. This time we're going to tackle the suspension and undercarriage within the wheel arches basically. So I'll just give you a quick lowdown of what we're about to undertake. Right, here we are, front wheel arches. Due to the fact that the 6 litre is a more powerful engine, the brake discs on the front of the V12s are different to the 4 litre and 3.6 versions in that the diameter, the circumference is a little bit bigger. I'll show you some pictures of the two different types side by side a little bit later. It's quite common in my experiences with these so far for people to have put the wrong discs on these cars due to the fact that the original ones are quite hard to come by. I've managed to get my hands on a brand new original pair. Again, I'll show you those later as they're going on. So the idea is now that we're going to remove the calipers, which are in fairly poor condition. I'm going to shot blast them up, clean them. Obviously new pads. I've got some new discs as I mentioned before. We're going to clean up the entire area. These top wishbone arms here, the bushes are not looking too clever at the top. So while we've got the car in this state, although they're probably not MOT failures, I'm going to change the bushes in those swinging arms. Also shock absorbers we're going to replace, again original from Jaguar, £196 a piece. However, they are again a special one for the 6 litre, obviously uprated slightly. So those are going to get changed. We're going to clean up the whole area, paint and refurbish everything as required, and then obviously we're going to fully wax oil it up. So that's the front, pretty much the same story at the rear. Oh, by the way, the brake fluid we're going to change. I'm going to change for the synthetic brake fluid, which doesn't pick up air like the standard stuff. It's expensive, but once you've changed it once, you should never have to change it again. So that's going to be done as well. So all the brake fluid is going to be stripped out. I'll have a look at the hoses, although they all seem to be okay at first glance. These rear suspension support beam brackets generally tend to rust quite badly on all the ones that I've seen here in the UK, so I'm going to take those off, shot blast those up and get those powder coated. New shockers in the back, I think the springs should be okay, so we'll just put new shocks in there, which we've already got, some Bose units. Again, new discs are still available from Jaguar, just short of £200 a pair. Very cheap alternatives are available, but I think I'm going to so much trouble. I think I'll put the originals on, clean up the calipers, new pads, I think the handbrake shoes should be okay. They tend to last forever, so we'll have a look when we get in there. Again, just general clean up, a wax oil, and then we can put that back together. So that's the plan. I'll get back to you throughout the project and show you how I'm getting on. Right, here we are at the next stage. All the suspension and everything has been stripped down to where it's going to get stripped down to, and all the everything that's required has been wire brushed down so that we've got the rusty bits exposed. That's the front one. Obviously new shocks going on there, the springs are okay. I don't know whether to change these drop links or not. I'll see if I can get a couple more, if they're not too overly priced. I might as well change those while they're at it. They're okay, but a little bit perished, so I've took the top wishbones off to change these bushes here, like we did in the other one, both sides. Again, they seem sort of okay, but since we've gone so far, we might as well change them. Pole shocks are off. All these are completely corroded, although they're saying that there's still a bit of work in them. They still work a little bit, but again, dead. And it looks like at some point somebody's changed one side for a Monroe shock absorber, so they needed to be done. Back springs are off too. All these are going to get shot blasted and repainted. Get rid of all that corrosion there. And the chassis itself, the subframe is in pretty good nick. There's a bit of surface rust there, but nothing much to speak of. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Obviously, all the disc calipers are off. Brake fluid's all been flushed out. There's the old calipers. Front ones are in there. Again, all the rubbers and everything are all fine, and they're just generally oxidised up a bit, corroded, so we'll get those shot blasted. But new bleed nipples in them. And these are the old discs, which are actually the wrong ones, which I'll show you later. And these are the rear discs, which are pretty badly worn. Just to show you the back. For some reason there was a bit more surface corrosion on this side, which is the driver's side, on the subframe mounting points, etc. I don't know why. It might have been where it's parked, where it was parked long term on a lawn. So this side, a bit more surface rust on it than the other side. However, it is only surface rust. There's no major corrosion in there whatsoever. And the rear wheel arches are all in good nick, so they just need cleaning up. Handbrake shoes are fine. Mechanisms are all working fine. So we'll just clean those up, put some new discs on, cleaned up calipers, new pads. That's that. It's also going to be changed at some point a bit later on. But I've got underneath and given it a bit of a scrape out everywhere. A little bit of corrosion along there. And a tiny bit along this edge here, so that's all been scraped back. So now the next thing to do is to go round it all with the cure rust. So any rusty bits, I'll get them coated in cure rust, and we'll try and transform the rusty bits back to solid metal. Then we need to wash it all down, petrol, clean all the dirt off, and I'll get back to you at that point when that's been done, before we repaint and wax oil. So I'll see you then. Just forgot to show you this. So these are the rear subframe mounting brackets that go underneath here. They tend to rust quite badly on these. I've done quite a few with them like this, so they've been removed. They're going to be shot blasted and powder coated before they go back on. Make them all nice and shiny. Okay, here we are again. Just give you a little update. The suspension and all the wheel arches are all now ready for the wax oil treatment. But as you can see, I got a bit excited and ended up having to take the spring pans off and take the springs out. There was too much crud in the spring pans. I couldn't get it out, so do it properly. All those parts have been off to the shop blasters to get redone. Also the drop links have come off. I'm going to put new drop links on. The bushes were a little bit worn, so that's the front one. As you can see, all the chassis has been repainted and all the suspension all cleaned up, etc. All ready for the new parts. And the back one is now all ready. All the handbrake mechanisms all cleaned up. All the rust is now gone, all painted up underneath everywhere. All the arches are all cleaned up, like I say, ready for the wax oil treatment. So I'll give you a quick show when the wax oil's on and you can see what it looks like then. been a little bit distracted the last couple of days because I've had to have a bit of a shuffle around in the workshop, because I decided, not just for this particular job but all the others, the Series 1, the Series 2 and any other work, that I'm going to be doing some shop blasting. So all the big components I send off and get those done, because it's quite a time consuming process and not that expensive actually. But I've bought myself a shop blast machine, so now I've had a bit of a change around in the workshop. So we've got a bit of a production line going on here. So there's the parts washer now. So the parts come in here from the car, stripped down, they get washed in the parts washer, and then any bits ground off, any burrs etc ground off on the workstation, any bolts that needed to come off after the parts washing, they can be taken off with a vise on this section here. Then they go on into the shop blaster, which I've just used, and it's quite good. And then they come out of there and they get dusted and cleaned off here, and then they go into the paint department here and they get painted or hung up and painted, as the case may be here. Just done you a little before and after here. This to show you what the shop blaster can do. This is the before, obviously. You can see lots of corrosion and old brake pad dust and stuff. And that's the new one, all shop blasted up. So again, I'm really pleased with it. All the rubber bits and everything don't get attacked by the shop because they're rubber, so that's great. So as long as you seal off any holes for the fuel, for the brake fluid, make sure there's no dust gets actually inside this cylinder, everything's okay. So as you can see, they come up really well, and then they go from here. Then this one's all prepped, ready to be primed, and then when they're primed, then they get painted. So yeah, there you go. So I've been a couple of days sorting all this lot out, but at least now we've got a good working area to restore bits as we go along. Right, I thought I'd just give you a little update. Having used all the new machinery, I'd just like to show you all the bits and pieces that's ready now to go back on. All these items here have either been powder coated or primed and sprayed. All the heavy duty parts like the rear subframe mounts, the spring carriers, the spring mounts, etc etc, and these spring mounts also, and the springs have all been powder coated, and the calipers, I've just painted them with satin black after they were all shop blasted and cleaned. As you can see, all the rubbers and the seals are all in perfectly good condition. Got to put some new bushes in these yet, but other than that, that's all ready to go. With my newfound machinery, I've actually gone to the trouble of shop blasting every single nut and bolt, washer, etc. Painted them all up. They'll get, now everything gets a coat of wax oil, so it all needs to be hung up wax oiled, and I'll put them back on. It's going to be on my next visit now. So there you go, that's all the bits ready to go back on, and speak to you soon. Okay, just a summary for this visit. All the bits and pieces are all packed away, ready to go on. I've hung up all the restored pieces and wax oiled them as previously mentioned, and now all the underbody and the wheel arches of the car are all treated and wax oiled. So here we are, the front wheel arch, we've got a fresh coat of wax oil on there. I decided to do the clear wax oil on the mechanical moving parts and black wax oil on the body shell itself, as the body shell was coated in Schultz to start with anyway. So we've done all that. We've also done all underneath. All the repairs have all been tidied up and sealed up. Coat of wet soil all the way underneath, up to the centre section, because I need to change the gearbox oil and stuff, so I'll do that when I do that. So that's the front one. Back one, same. All the arches all wet soiled. All mechanical parts in the clear. It's just less messy when you're working on it. You don't get black all over you. The exhaust pipes obviously need to be replaced at a slightly later date. We'll get around to that. That's that one. I'll just show you the floor underneath the back. Which has all been recoated. It seems a bit of a shame to cover everything in wax oil once it's all nice and shiny, but ultimately I'd like to think that I'll be using the car on the road at some point, and you never know when you're going to get caught out in a shower or a storm. So I think it's better to weatherproof everything if you're going to use the car in any case. This is the other side. All done. As you can see, pretty much stripped down now. Got to order all the new drop links, etc., which will go on next time. That's that one. This underneath here is all redone. As you can see, and the other rear wheel arch is all coated up, protected. So there you go. So that's it for this time now. When I come back in June, hopefully, I can reassemble all the suspension parts, and then that's that element of it checked off. So, until June.